fun to be around. He's got humility to him. He doesn't act like he's privileged, but they treat him, the coaches treat him like he's privileged because he's that guy's son. And
just felt like on a back-to-back, just him giving us energy, I think, was the goal. I maybe put him in a tough spot, flying up yesterday and, nationally televised game and Philly, all that stuff. It's, he didn't play well, but he's been playing great.
Bronny James is under fire again, but this time it is not because of one missed shot, one bad stat line, or one viral mistake. Fans noticed something much more uncomfortable. The Lakers have Bronny on the roster. They have the spotlight around him every night. They have the father-son story with LeBron. But when the game actually matters, they still do not seem ready to trust him. And once people notice that pattern, the whole conversation around Bronny changed. That is the strange part fans keep pointing to. Bronny is not being treated like a normal late second-round pick because normal late second-round picks do not get this much national attention, but he is also not being treated like a real rotation player yet. He's stuck in the middle, too famous to be ignored, but not trusted enough to play when the Lakers actually need answers. And in the NBA, that is a tough place to live. I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. Stephen A's point is exactly why this story will not go away. Bronny does not get judged like a normal young guard. He gets judged like LeBron's son. Every minute becomes a message. Every benching becomes a debate. Every missed shot turns into a national topic. And because LeBron is still on the Lakers, every coaching choice around Bronny gets viewed through the same uncomfortable question. Is this about development, or is this about protecting the story? That is where fans started noticing the strange pattern. When the Lakers are in low-pressure moments, Bronny can get time. When the game is already out of reach, he can get a few minutes. When the crowd wants the moment, he can check in and the cameras light up. But when the Lakers need somebody to stabilize the offense, defend, make shots, or survive real competitive pressure, Bronny is not the first young guard they call. That doesn't mean he's finished. It doesn't mean he cannot grow. But it does say something about where he currently stands. Coaches do not lie with minutes. They may give careful answers in press conferences, but the rotation tells the truth. If a coach trusts you, you play when the game is alive. If he doesn't, you wait until the game is almost decided. College player. That Nick Smith Jr. detail is what really made fans stop and think. This was not about Bronny sitting behind established stars only. Nobody expects him to jump over Luka, Austin Reeves, or proven veterans. The strange part is when another young guard who is not some locked-in Lakers star gets the call before Bronny. That's when the message feels different. It tells you the Lakers may like his future, but they don't fully trust his present. And that's the biggest problem for a win-now team. The Lakers are not rebuilding quietly. They're not a small market team giving young players unlimited mistakes. They're trying to win with LeBron still around. And every roster spot matters. If you're on that bench, the team eventually needs to know what you can give them. Shooting, defense, energy, ball pressure, anything. But if the minutes are mostly controlled and low stakes, fans start asking whether the roster spot is more about development or more about the name. Bronny did have moments that showed why people still want to believe. His first NBA bucket in Cleveland was special. The crowd reacted. LeBron watched it happen in the same building where his own legend started. Bronny admitted after the game that the moment was bigger than he expected and that he felt it even while keeping a straight face that showed the human side of this whole situation. Playing my game is always something that I'm going to do. So yeah, just going in there with that same mindset and keeping my head leveled and trying to still play my role. That moment was real. Nobody can take that away from him. But one emotional moment does not answer the basketball question. The question is not whether he belongs in a great story. The question is whether he belongs in a real Lakers rotation right now. Those are two very different things. The story is powerful. A father and son sharing the NBA floor is historic. But once the emotion fades, the box score, the minutes, and the trust level are still sitting there. And that's where the criticism gets louder. Fans are not only reacting to his stats, they're reacting to the way the Lakers use him. If he were forcing the issue, the conversation would feel different. If he were coming in and pressuring the ball, hitting open threes, making smart reads, and changing the energy, the Lakers would have no choice but to expand his role. But when the flashes are small and the mistakes are still visible, the trust doesn't grow fast enough to quiet the noise. Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. You know what people are saying. You know what they're going to do to this kid. That is the brutal part of the NBA. It does not care about your last name once the ball is live. Defenders will attack you. Coaches will hunt matchups. Fans will notice if you look unsure, and opponents are not going to relax because your dad is LeBron. If anything, they are going to test you harder. That is why development for Bronny is so complicated. He needs patience, but he's playing inside one of the least patient environments in sports. Los Angeles is not built for quiet growth. The Lakers are a daily debate show. Everything becomes a headline. A normal rookie mistake becomes proof of nepotism. A normal young player slump becomes a national crisis. A normal G League assignment becomes a referendum on whether he belongs. That is not fair. But it is the reality of being Bronny James. And LeBron knows that. That is why he has defended his son so strongly. The Stephen A. situation showed how personal this became. Stephen A. said he was speaking to LeBron as a father, arguing that Bronny was being placed in a situation where the criticism would be unavoidable. LeBron did not take that lightly. When cameras caught him confronting Stephen A. courtside, it became clear this was bigger than basketball analysis. It was a father protecting his son. That was LeBron James coming up to me unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. That confrontation is part of why the Bronny conversation feels so strange. On one side, people understand LeBron protecting his son. Any father would feel that. On the other side, analysts are saying if Bronny is in the NBA and on the Lakers roster, people are allowed to evaluate him like an NBA player. That is where the conflict lives. LeBron wants people to see the kid. The media sees the roster spot, fans see the minutes, and everybody is arguing from a different place. Bronny himself has handled the attention quietly. He does not talk wild. He does not make excuses. He does not look like someone trying to use his name as a shield. That is why some of the criticism can feel harsh. The issue is not that Bronny is acting entitled. The issue is that the situation around him is impossible to separate from LeBron. He can do everything the right way personally and still be stuck inside a debate he did not create. You know, watching film is a very important part of basketball. But yeah, just going back and looking at my mistakes and looking at the things I did right is really good for me. But also just game by game, throwing that comfort and playing my game. I feel like that's a big part of why I come out here and get those. That is why the real answer is more complicated than people want it to be. Bronny can be a hard-working young player and still not be ready for meaningful Lakers minutes. Both can be true. He can have potential and still be taking up a spot on a team that needs help now. He can deserve patience and still face criticism because the Lakers are not a rebuilding project. The problem is not only Bronny. The problem is the situation. If he were on a rebuilding team, this might look normal. A second-round guard gets minutes, makes mistakes, goes back to the G League, improves, and nobody talks about it every day. But on the Lakers, with LeBron beside him, there is no normal path. Every assignment, every benching, every garbage time appearance and every clip becomes part of a larger argument about whether the Lakers are making basketball decisions or managing a legacy moment. And that's the strange thing fans noticed. The Lakers seem to want Bronny close, but not fully involved. They want him developing, but not always in the fire. They want the story, but they also want to win. That creates tension because if he's part of the future, he needs representatives that matter. But if he's not ready for representatives that matter, then fans will keep asking why he's on a win-now roster in the first place. Right here, James is going to fire it up. There it is. First NBA basket. That score. Welcome home, LeBron James Jr. So, this is not just about one strange rotation choice. It's about trust. The Lakers' minutes are telling fans something the organization will not say out loud. Bronny is valuable to the story, valuable to development, and valuable to the bigger James family moment. But right now, he has not clearly become valuable to winning Lakers minutes. That can change. He's young. Guards take time. Confidence can grow, shooting can improve, defense can become his path onto the floor. But until the Lakers actually trust him when the game is alive, this heat is not going away because fans noticed the uncomfortable truth. Bronny James is famous enough to be watched like a star, but he's still being used like a player the Lakers are not fully ready to trust. And in Los Angeles, that gap is impossible to hide.